You don't live isolated.
No.
You're in a society.
Sure.
So you have to show how you interact with others.
Yeah.
And that interaction needs to be... Do you want a copy of the Quran or you have one?
I have. Thank you.
She has one. Forgotten your name again.
Daria.
Daria. So you need to be well aware to interact in a society. There has to be certain do's and don'ts, certain code of conduct to follow. Okay, you can get this from fallible, ignorant human beings upon trial and error, or you can get this from your creator, this higher being. You choose. So we choose the one who is the most knowledgeable of us, who one created us, to give us the conduct of life here, rather than getting from this fallible, ignorant human beings. By doing that, destroying societies. Look what Stalin and others did, in a communist Russia. How many millions of people were killed.
What? I am grateful to be born in a family where, my parents were born in Soviet Union, exactly when, at the time of Stalin, right? Where religion was denied. My dad is Jewish, my mom is Christian, and they were able to marry at the time because there was no religion. If it was a normal time, they wouldn't be able to be married because then my mom would have to be converted to Judaism to be married to my dad. So I grew up in 80s and 90s without religion, and I feel I have a lot more open-minded outlook on the world versus someone who would have been brought a Jew or a Christian or a Muslim. In a way, I am questioning my beliefs and I'm trying to understand each of the religions to see where maybe I'm affiliated more towards.
Sure.
Right?
So
I haven't been indoctrinated from my childhood what to believe in.
Okay. So when it comes to the issues of religion, then, because I mean, I understand.
I'm just
no.
straightforward,
I appreciate your upbringing helped you to have a certain view or an outlook of life, which otherwise, being in a religion, may not have given you the same.
Exactly.
So we can have different experiences of different upbringing. But the fact still remains, out of all of these belief systems, whether you are already internalized your belief as a Jew or a Christian or a Muslim, or you are exposing yourself on a liberal mindset, you still have to choose one which is the best for you.
Of course. But it doesn't have to be a religion, like I said.
No,
I
a way of
believe
life.
in a higher
way of life.
power.
Remember,
I believe in there's something above us that guides us, but I don't generalize it or, let's say, put it in a certain... I'm putting it in this shelf, let's say.
But why don't you see religion is not only the affairs between you and God, but religion to be something that gives you a conduct of life, the best conduct of life for the betterness of yourself. So if you're seeking, like, I want to live the best life, consider religion is that framework or model that gives you that. Because I know the baggage. I appreciate, Daria, the baggage people have with the word religion is constraining and limiting.
By the rules, right?
But we all are constrained by rules. Even
but
here.
Do you want to live by rules?
No, we have to. We are social beings. We can, for example, now, can you just walk naked in public here? You'll be arrested.
I think in London.
No, you can't. You can't. It's a public disorder crime, right?
Okay, right.
Likewise, just with this theme, likewise, you can't go as a teacher in your bikinis in a corporate organization or a school.
Sure.
You have to follow a certain code of life, right?
Yeah, I agree.
In a society.
I agree with that.
So in principle, we have to restrict our own desires and feelings to a certain extent.
You may feel,
with certain extent.
Even though sometimes you may feel depressed. Or
to a certain extent. For example, there are people out there, they want to have every other woman they want. I love this woman, I want to sleep with her, right? But they can't do that because this woman is not willing to have a relationship with this guy, right? So he thinks now, how do I rape her? There are rapists like this, raping mentality. So you see how they want to fulfill and materialize their feelings and desires through things which now you and I would agree is by force and compulsion, but this is a crime. It's just a crime of how we live in a society collectively.
But don't you think when you live in a culture where your desire is suppressed over years, it basically bursts out after a certain amount of time, the person who's been deprived and sort of taught in a certain way
shouldn't be deprived. Should be
point
directed.
Where he's like, excuse my English, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
We have to blur this out.
But that's what happens, right?
No, what we're saying is this. if you take the example of Afghanistan, people say, like, how happened? Now, at one point, they're admitting their mistakes, as far as I know. When you implement suddenly something like this, without giving people alternative, imagine, like, you've got water on your hands, right? Yeah. I say, you can't drink at all, including water. What are you going to do? You're going to, like, become thirsty and so on and so forth. So, Islam, instead of just simply saying, you can't do this and that, it provides the alternative. It says, fine, you can't drink alcohol? Fine. Why don't you drink apple juice, orange juice, banana juice, strawberry juice, whatever? All the other alternatives there. Oh, you can't have sexual relationship? Well, get married. Within marriage you can, but not while outside the marriage.
Just tick the box exercise?
No.
Why not?
Islam gives you, as I said, the particular code of conduct. Whatever it restricts, it gives you the alternative. It tells you, these are the things that you cannot eat or consume.
Yeah.
These are the things you can. And the vast majority are permissible ones. So the halal that you know of are the vast majority. Haram are a minority or restrictions.
What about slaughtering animals? Like slaughtering animals for Eid, like lamb. Why do we kill animals?
There are various reasons why we follow the Abrahamic tradition, commemorating that traditions where, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam showed his absolute trust and reliance on God. What God commanded him, he just did it. Okay, this is his faith, how he was tested. But of course, God didn't simply just say, okay, fine, I commanded you to sacrifice your son, let him be sacrificed. No, he substituted with.
Yeah.
So this is the traditions of the Eid al-Adha. But when it comes to eating food, for example, God didn't just say, okay, you only eat vegetables. He gave us the biological makeup to consume meat. Our teeth, our digestive system, the proteins.
No. I don't agree with.
Your teeth.
They're not made to eat animals.
No, your teeth. Yeah. The enzymes in your body, they're all there to digest animal proteins.
No,
that's the biology.
I don't agree. And that I don't agree, not just with Islam in general. I think.
Why does a lion eat a zebra?
Do you know that the Italian, what do you call them? The guys that lived in the Roman Empire. Okay, help me there. Sarah, who were the Italian men that were vegetarians in the Roman Empire?
I don't think they were Italian, but you think about the...
Tell me. Come on. Where you have the Roman Empire. Tell me. Gladiators. Here you go.
Gladiators, right.
So they've done a lot of researches over the years where they've shown gladiators were the men of the time. They were the strongest, the fastest, they were vegetarian.
Were they vegetarian in their biological makeup?
Our bodies are not made to eat animals. And that I'm not, let's say, contesting against Islam per se. I'm contesting it against...
science.
Generally.
You're contesting against biology.
No.
The biological makeup is...
Our human race...
Do you have a biology background?
...was not made to eat animals.
No, it's not made to eat.
When the meat comes into your stomach, it becomes to rot.
Can you eat cement?
No.
Why not?
Well, you die from it.
No, why do we die from it? It's cement, it's not poison.
You get poison.
So why can we not digest?
Meat is slow poison.
No.
If you eat it over the years,
Daria, I just want to...
You get a cancer.
That's what
happens.
Just want to highlight a point.
Slower reaction
the reason why we can digest meat and we can't digest cement, there's a reason for it.
Okay, tell me what it is.
Because of the biology, the makeup.
Right.
What we have in our digestive system in terms of the acids and the other hormones and proteins that helps us to digest, it can digest certain things. It can digest animal proteins. It cannot digest, for example, cement. So in our biology, there is a makeup already. So you can't just simply say, you know what, I'm going to force a lion to eat grass from now on.
Yeah.
The lion, within its biology, is already designed, made to eat other animals.
But maybe I would have liked religion more if we were taught to be kind to every humankind, not just...
That's what Islam says.
Well, animals are...
Do you know how Islam treats an animals?
How? Dogs are not... No. Dogs are bad animals.
Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. There are examples of dogs that prohibited because these particular dogs are like Satan embodied themselves, or some personification of Satan or something like that. Okay. But you can have guard dogs and so on. Yeah, of course you can, right? We have a companion named Abu Huraira. We have a companion named Abu Huraira. Do you know why he's called Abu Huraira?
No.
because he had a cat. And he loved this cat. He cat would come all the time with him. He's like, the father of the cat.
Slaughtering goats, for me, is still haram.
No, you can emotionally feel.
Yeah. Animals have feelings, and this is what I'm also challenging.
Do you eat?
I don't eat meat, no.
Do you eat vegetables?
I do, yes.
Do you know trees also have feelings?
No, not the same way. They don't have brain.
Wait. You don't need
They don't
brain.
have nervous system.
No, this is
same as animals do.
This is where the problem lies, I think. There's a whole new domain of science called plant neurobiology.
Okay.
You were not aware of that, were you? Please go and study this. Plant neurobiology, in which they are demonstrating how plants can have feeling, suffer pain, and so on and so forth.
Can you slaughter a goat yourself, if you have to?
If I have to, yeah, why not? I haven't tried it, I don't remember. But no.
Because we are so accustomed going to the supermarket where everything is slaughtered and we just pick it up from the shelf and
Daria,
it's like, okay, I can eat it, but when you have to do it yourself...
Yeah, I think I've done it before. If you're really emotional because you've already... Like, for example, I will find it very difficult to slaughter, very young lambs and something like this because they're very cute, right? And in Islam, we don't, even for udhiyah, there has to be a certain age before they are sacrificed.
Okay.
You can't slaughter the very young ones under particular ages. Isn't that correct? I think maybe under particular age, you can't slaughter animals for udhiyah. There has to be a particular age.
Right.
Yeah. So people are naturally very inclined to feeling of love and compassion and mercy with the very young ones. So that's why, at one point I was living in Syria and we had ducks and chickens that we raised. There's no way I can eat them. So when we left, after a year when we left that country, I had to give it to a young chap, say, okay, look after them. I'm not sure whether he ate them or not, look after them. Because you are so attached to it. Likewise, when people are attached to animals and so on, of course you don't feel like you can eat them. But we consider something differently. For example, trees, you think like there's no feeling, but yes, when you pluck a leaf from a tree, do you know what happens? Chemical signals from one leaf goes to all the other leaves, saying danger, 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 look, someone's harming you. When a caterpillar starts eating the leaf, this is the chemical signal. We have seen it. Now they have with technology, you can actually see the chemical signals with the calcium ions and so on, how it goes all around. Amazing. They have feelings.
Around the plants.
People often also.
Are you talking about the plants?
I'm talking about plants. I'm talking about plants of feelings. I'm talking about plants, they raise and rear their youngs. They look after them. I mean, this is a whole new science. I mean, books are written, articles. So we should stop eating trees and plants like that. Where do you stop?
What are you teaching here?
Okay, we were discussing about, Islam.
Right.
And you believe there is a higher power.
Right.
So I would rather say, if you really believe in a higher power, take it one step further. What are the attributes of this higher power? And why is this higher power created you or brought you into existence?
Right.
Because your mom and dad didn't bring you into existence, they were just the means. Do you know, people often think, our mom and dad gave us life.
Right.
If they had the ability, if I died as a child, it would give me life again and again and again. But the fact that they can't means they didn't have the power to give us life.
Okay.
They only means.
Okay.
So if God gave us life, for what reason? What is the purpose of our life? There's a purpose
What
of
is your purpose of your life?
Exactly.
Can you share that with me?
Yeah,
What
I can.
is it?
Simply to worship God. In the Quran, our Creator tells us.
And you don't care about doing nicer things in life, to educate yourself, to spend time with the family.
That has nothing to do with this thing. It is different thing.
Now,
no, but
this.
how do you find time?
Worship doesn't mean that you shouldn't do this thing.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah,
So
100%.
the concept of worship.
One second, brother. Sorry, 1 second. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala العمل عبادة صحيح. Like working is worshiping as well in its context. When I'm working, I'm worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
If I smile at my brother, that's worship. How is that so?
It's a lifestyle.
As I said, if I take something from a thorn from the road, that's worship.
Right.
So worship simply doesn't mean going to a mosque or a temple or a gurudwara or a church, whatever. Worship means you do things whatever your God, your Creator is pleased with. So I follow the wills of my Creator, and by doing that, I've submitted to Him and surrendered to Him, and that's worship.
What do you think of people like me, who is non-believer?
As an intelligent human being, your next step is what I can direct you to. Your next step.
But what do you think of me being non-believer and me living my life the way I am without associating my life to, like I said, certain religion or practice?
As I see,
Yes.
from what I can understand with my limited experience about what you think, what you are someone who believes in a higher power.
Right.
That means there are essential next steps to take. As Muslim, in every single prayer, 17 times a day at least, we say, establish us, guide us on the straight path.
Okay.
Even though we have that path, but we are constantly praying to remain on that path. The path of those that God is pleased with, the prophets and the messengers and the righteous ones, and not the path of those who has earned God's anger, the one who went totally astray, or because of So, for you, the way I see it is, you are living a path already. The question is, the path that you should take is the best path. And Islam tells you the best path is offered by God and His Messenger through the Quran and the prophetic teaching.
I have a very hectic job where I have to work. I have to perform 9 hours of the day, where I have to think about my team, all my KPIs I need to hit. I have zero time to think about God. How do you fit that in?
Sure. I have
where
perhaps...
you have so much to do every day that you basically don't know where to place.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين
I don't speak Arabic.
You translate.
Well, speak in English to me. I don't want to hear Arabic.
It's for them, not for you. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين
It's because when we talk about the Quran, that's the Quran.
أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. Allah does not forbid you from those who do not fight you because of your religion,
Right.
And do not expel you from your home, from being righteous toward them,
Right.
and acting justly toward them. Actually, the translation, if I want to translate it my own way, إن الله يحب المقسطين. أن تبروهم, which is the best manners of acting with the other person. Even like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can say with the highest manners with others, Allah obligated us to be number one with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, then parents, then disbelievers. So these are the top people, like the people on the top who should be treated the best with the best manners ever. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So how do you treat your team then? Let's say you have a team. How do you treat
May I
them?
come back to your example? I work, even though it's like 7.5 hours a day, 35 hours a week or something like this, most of the time I'm late at work in a hospital, right? So I have team to manage. I have to do all these things, doing data access and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of hard work, okay? Managing the team and working for the team, individually, collectively. But still, we can make time. Just like you make time for your lunch break, your tea break, you make time to have discussion with your friend, you can make time for God, you can make time for your own self. Your own self. Because worship is not that God says 24-hour day on a temple doing this. No.
Some people do that. They choose to do that, right?
But in Islam, whatever you do that is in accordance with God's will, God says so, and in accordance with it, that becomes worship. The examples I've given you about, like, brother, how are you? Smiling at my brother is worship.
Cool.
Can you imagine what worship encompasses? So, if I am now in my team, speaking to them in honesty and truthfulness, that's my worship in action. I'm being truthful.
Yeah.
If I am being reliable, don't break my promises, that's worship in actions. Yeah. So even in my dealings at workplace, when I do that, that's part of my worship in action.
Okay.
Yeah? So it is easy. So for yourself, as I said, the next direction, next step, recommendation, I'm asking you or telling you, this is because you believe in a higher power already, is to take that next step and say, okay, fine, why this creator created me? And I mentioned too, for worship, to acknowledge him as your creator and to surrender your will. Because if there's a purpose in this life, which there is, your coat has a purpose, your shoes have a purpose, your glasses have a purpose, you have a purpose too. And that purpose is not simply to be happy and to make others happy.
But it's also not being worshipping to God all the time. There are
No,
other
it's not about all the
things
time. The other things you do.
Yeah.
We don't neglect this life.
Yeah.
And only consider the hereafter, the real life, because this life we can live, but within boundaries.
Yeah.
And you accept that there has to be boundaries. You can't just do whatever you do. In your team, can you just act like a dictator? No, you can't, because
Sometimes I can.
but then they won't like
I'm
you.
the boss.